Hi all, NCERT Class 8 History Chapter How, When and Where. How important are dates? Historians were fascinated with dates. History is certainly about changes that occur over time. It is about finding out how things were in the past and how things have changed. There is a time when history was an account of battles and events. It was about rulers and their policies. Which dates? The dates we select and compose our story are not important on their own. They become virtual because we focus on a particular set of events as important. British historians in India, the rule of each Governor General was important. These historians began with the rule of the first Governor General Warren Hastings and ended with the last Viceroy Lord Mountbatten. How do we periodize? In 1817, James Mill, a Scottish economist and political philosopher, published a massive 3-volume book, A History of British India. In this, he divided Indian history into 3 periods: Hindu, Muslim, and British. Mill thought that all Asian societies were at a lower level of civilization than Europe. According to his telling of history, before the British came to India, Hindu and Muslim despots ruled the country. Religious intolerance, caste taboos, and superstitious practices dominated social life. British rule, Mill felt, would civilize India. To do this, it was necessary to introduce European manners, arts, institutions, and laws in India. Mill, in fact, suggests that the British should conquer all the territories in India to ensure the enlightenment and happiness of Indian people. For India was not capable of progress without British help. But historians have usually divided Indian history into ancient, medieval, and modern. It is a periodization that is borrowed from West, where the modern period was associated with the growth of all the forces of modernity: science, reason, democracy, liberty, and equality. Medieval was a term used to describe a society where these features of modern society did not exist. What is colonization? When the subjugation of one country by another leads to these kinds of political, economic, social, and cultural changes, we refer to the process as colonization. Administration produces records. The British believed that the act of writing was important. Every instruction, plan, policy, decision, agreement, investigation has to be clearly written up. Once this was done, things would be properly studied and debated. This conviction produced an administrative culture of memos, notings, and reports. They also felt that all important documents and letters need to be carefully preserved. Record rooms attached to all administrative institutions. Specialized institutions like archives and museums were also established to preserve important records. Letters and memos that moved from one branch of the administration to another in early years of the 19th century can still be read in the archives. In the early years of 19th century, these documents were carefully copied out and beautifully written by calligraphists. That is, by who specialized in the art of beautiful writing. By the middle of the 19th century, with the spread of printing, multiple copies of these records were printed and proceeds of each government department. The National Archives of India came up in the 1920s in New Delhi. Surveys became important. The practice of surveying also became common under the colonial administration. The British believed that a country has to be properly known before it could be efficiently administered. By the early 19th century, detailed surveys were being carried out to map the entire country. In the villages, revenue surveys were conducted. The effort was to know the topography, the soil quality, the flora, the fauna, the local historians, and the cropping pattern. All the facts seemed as necessary to know about the administer the region. From the end of the 19th century, census operations were held every 10 years. These prepared detailed records of the number of people in the provinces of India, noting information on caste, religious, and occupation. There were many other surveys: botanical surveys, zoological survey, archaeological survey, anthropological surveys, forest surveys. What official records do not tell? These official records do not always help us understand what other people in the country felt and what lay behind their actions. Records, diaries of people's Accounts of pilgrims and travelers, autobiographies of important personalities, and popular booklets that were sold in the local bazaars are also found other than official documents. As printing spread, newspapers were published and issues were debated in public. Leaders and reformers wrote to spread their ideas, poets and novelists wrote to express their feelings. This is much realistic than official records. Thank you.